Alright guys, it's Drobium77 here. This is going to be my first ever video of, well, on YouTube. It's going to be the start of my motovlogging career, hopefully. Not that I'm going to get a career out of it or anything. Not hoping to get a career out of it, I'm just doing it for a bit of fun. Right, I'm not going to show my face because I'm very, very self-conscious about my fucking face. But what I'm going to do now is show you what I'm riding. And this is my pride and, well, one of them. I've got two bikes. One of them's a Royal Enfield Bullet, which is the exact opposite of this bike. And then I've got this one, which is a RF600 Suzuki. It's made in 1993, so it's knocking on for 20 years old now. It's done 31,000 miles. It's red, as you can see. I don't know if you can tell it's red. Of course you can't tell it's fucking red. I mean, you haven't got fucking eyes or anything, have you? Well, anyway, yeah, it's red. It was my dream bike as a kid. I saw this one come out in the biking mags, and this was the one that I always wanted. It was, you know, it's Italian looking without being really expensive. It's pretty cheap actually. I mean, to buy nowadays they're pretty cheap, although they're pretty rare. I mean, believe it or not, this cost me just over 800 quid on eBay. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Fucking eBay is a bit of a dodgy place to buy a motorbike, but the bloke who I bought it from is pretty reputable. He's sold literally hundreds of bikes. I checked out his credentials and everything, and everybody said that all the bikes he's sold are pretty excellent. So I took a risk and I bought this one, and to be honest, I haven't regretted it. It's been fantastic, to be honest. To be honest, that's me. I keep saying to be honest. Anyway, you'll get used to this kind of shit. I do tend to talk a load of bollocks, especially when I'm slightly nervous, which I am at the minute. Right, anyway, so this is my old girl. She's pretty nice condition considering the year. I mean, there's a couple of bits that are wrong with her. Namely this mirror, which when it sucks in the bloody water, because it rains literally every day here in the summer at the minute, it sucks in all the water, it stays inside overnight, and then when I'm riding along it sort of leaks out in this orange shit that's everywhere. It splashes all down the side of my fairing, all on my gloves, all on my legs. It goes freaking everywhere. So new mirrors are in order, hopefully in the next few weeks. Also, they've got a tendency to flap in and out, so if you go past anything over about 120 mile an hour, the screws loosen, the things flap inwards, which is quite entertaining, especially when you want to see what's behind you. Not that you should care what's behind you at 120 mile an hour, but you know. Anyway, indicators are going to need changing as well because they are saggy. It's got amazing Suzuki saggy indicator syndrome, which a lot of the Suzukis I've owned seem to have. I don't know why it is. I have bent them back again, but they've managed to sort of go all limp again, which makes the bike look slightly shit from the front. The forks are a little bit pitted, so I may get those resprayed. The brakes, front brakes are starting to squeak a little bit, so I think either I need to give them a really good servicing, matron, or I need new pads. I'm going to have to check that out properly. Oh, excuse me. Right, one of the best parts of this bike, I think, are these side slats here, which, now the designer of this bike, apparently, well, it is true, but it was the same bloke who designed the Ferrari Testarossa. So, you know the slats on the side of those, that's why you got these Go Faster. They don't do anything, they don't aid cooling or anything, it's just literally for show. It's got an original exhaust there. A little bit of rust on the top there, don't look at that, I haven't polished it off yet. one of the best bits about this bike is its arse, and to be honest, it's got one of the... This is literally the thing that sold it to me originally. It's the arse end of this bike is just fucking gorgeous. It's just hugely wide. It's at least 18 inches wide, which is just manic nowadays for a bike. It's got the top light is the just the ordinary sort of rear light, and the whole of the bottom light lights up when you press the brakes, which is just brilliant, to be honest. I mean, everybody's going to notice when you want to stop on this. Not that they'll be sort of that near to the back end of you anyway, but it is a pretty rapid bike too. It's got 102, 103 brake horsepower. It'll get up to about, well, it will do about 145 to 150 mile an hour depending on what gearing it's got. I've had this up to about 140 so far, which, considering the suspension's original and the brakes and everything need servicing, it was a little bit scary. Although I'm quite a brave chap, I do sort of take the occasional risk. The other thing that sold it to me is the fact it's got some decent storage on it. It's got this little chappy here, which is a little tiny cubby hole. Well, it's not tiny, it's pretty big actually. You can get a load of tools in there, some change, a wallet, a mobile, what have you in there. Somebody pulling up there. Under the seat it's got some pretty good storage too. Pillions, it's got the worst possible pillion seat on earth. I know, because there's a bloke who broke down on his bike a few weeks ago and I had to give him a lift somewhere, and he was squashing my knackers into the tank so desperately that I almost had to sort of turf him off halfway. But the seat sort of slips forward too far, and the grab handles are a bit shit, so it was tending to grab hold to me, which I don't like. I don't like anybody sort of touching me when I'm trying to ride. It's just pissing me off. What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Go away. Fuck off. Anyway. Right, so, anyway, that's my bike. I don't know if I mentioned it, because I'm forgetful and I can't be bothered to look at the start of the video because of something, I don't know what I'm talking about now. But my other bike is a Royal Enfield Bullet, which is the complete opposite to this bike. It's really old school. It's got drum brakes both ends. It's a twin lead insert at the front, so it does not stop. I mean, it's literally, if you want to stop, you have to give the brakes written warning, and you know, you have to make sure there's nothing in front of you for at least a quarter of a mile before you even stop. But that's the one I'll do a review on that one later on, because you probably don't want to. I mean, it's been 8 minutes? Bloody hell, 8.5 minutes. Right, anyway, I've come up here just because one of my mates, Midnight, has done or requested a video response to something he was talking about, which is where you go to get away from it all, or what you do to recharge your batteries. And I go out into the countryside here on the bike. I blast around at stupid speeds for a couple of hours, and then I need a little bit of sort of time out, so I usually find a place like this. Now over there it's not the best of views on this, but this overlooks the city of Birmingham, which is just in the distance there, and it's just a gorgeous view from here. There are better views around, but this one's okay at the minute. So I'll just sort of get come out here. I'll bring a sort of bottle of pop or what have you, or you know, tea, a flask of tea or something. Get a bag of chips from a chip shop, and just sit here, eat the chips, relax, forget about everything. You know, you can just unwind up here. You know. Because sometimes you can get quite, if you're riding a bike quite quickly, you can get pretty wound up sometimes with it, and especially if you're riding anywhere near your limits, which I usually am. I'm not the world's best rider, but a lot of things scare me, probably because I've been riding the Enfield for too long. But the Enfield's a totally weird experience when you're riding. This one's much more sort of competent, so my confidence is coming back, but as I'll show you in a minute, I still have got an annoying 1 inch, no, it's more like 2 inches, but don't tell anybody, chicken strip on the back of my tyre. No, I know it's embarrassing, it's shit, but just don't bloody tell anyone. I've seriously considered getting a wire brush and scrubbing it off, just so I look a little bit better if I go to a bike meet or something, or when my mates come out and they take the piss out of me because I'm not leaning as far as they are yet. But that'll come when I've got my new suspension, my new brakes set up. I am going to get a new shock for it. The rear shock's a bit knackered, which does limit spirited cornering somewhat, but it's always fucking rubbish everywhere in this country. I tell you, if I come out here I wouldn't leave flipping rubbish everywhere. So disrespectful. Right, well anyway, I'm going to shove this on YouTube. It's not going to have any editing or anything because I've not literally gone down that route and had a look to see how you do these things yet. As I say, I'm going to try and do it. It's going to be hopefully something I want to do as a hobby or what have you, try and get into it. So I'll probably cut a load of this shit out if I had time, but I'm just going to get home, upload this to YouTube, and everybody says if your videos are over 12 minutes long, everybody loses the will to live. So I'm going to sign out there. So I'll catch you all later, and thanks for watching.